Welcome to the Rock Interview Series with host Thomas Orwat Jr.
Welcome to episode number 69 of the Rock Interview Series. I'm Thomas Orwat Jr. It is February 18th, 2023, and for this feature, I have metal legend Max Cavalera of SOULFLY and formerly of Sepultura as my featured guest. During this interview, Max talks about the recent SOULFLY release Totem, the band's current North American tour, and he reflects on SOULFLY's 25-year career. In addition, Max discusses how he feels about the thought of reuniting with Sepultura and what it was like touring with Pantera. So here he is, Max Cavalera. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rock Interview Series, episode number 69. And today we have heavy metal legend with us, Max Cavalera of SOULFLY. Max, you're out on the road right now. How's everything going on tour?
Oh man, the tour's been great. It's like really, after the pandemic, it's just made everything taste better. Touring is better. The shows are better. Even the little things that you took for granted when you were on the road before, you don't now. So it's a little bit extra special to tour now, and I really enjoying it, man. I think not just me, but also the fans. I think they also having a great time. We're playing a lot of big combination of new and old stuff, and it's been really cool and packed everywhere. So I'm super excited.
Like, I've been watching a lot of your footage from your shows on YouTube, and your audience is just whipped into a frenzy.
Yeah, they're really enjoying it, man. And like I said, it's such a big mix of songs. I mean, SOULFLY is 25 years, so there's a long chunk of years in music, just in SOULFLY. But we also throw a little bit of an album in there, just for the real, the hardcore fans, and a little Refuse and Resist for the old schoolers, So I love it, man. I think I'm one of those guys that kind of born for life on the road. I'm a road dog, as they call it,
Yeah.
road. I love everything about it, from the different scenery that you get. You change every day. Every show is different. And you're right, the shows, people are going off. It's incredible, the amount of energy that the fans, I think even like some SOULFLY fans are kind of surprised. We're playing stuff like Boom and Front Lines that they haven't heard in a while, especially Boom. And that's kind of I think that's really cool. It's like reconnecting to some of the stuff that a lot of these fans kind of grow up listening to it.
Yeah.
And then you throw in some of the new stuff on it from Totem that just came out. And I think Totem's a super raging record. It's really energetic. It's full on. It's like a lot of fast stuff, and really, like, it feels great to play that stuff live. So yeah, I think that the crowd is really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time. It's a long tour. It's 9 weeks. We still have a big chunk left, but it's been really great so far.
Yeah, I want to obviously talk about the Totem release. It's the 12th SOULFLY record. Some of the reviews, I mean, some of the words they're using to describe it, crushing, epic, chaotic, uncompromising. I mean, it is an amazing record. It was 4 years since their previous record that came out before that, Ritual. How gratifying was it to put together such a great record, and how much of this record did you find that because of the pandemic you had extra time obviously to work on this?
I had a little bit more time to work on it, but I think the record itself, it was done in such a cool way. It was really unorthodox way of making a record. I mean, I started with just me and my son Zion. We went on and wrote the skeleton of the record, just the two of us. So it felt like one of those two-piece bands that only has two members. It was really interesting. I was joking. I was like, oh, so this is how Darkthrone feels like. This is cool. And then we of course brought everything to the studio, and then we added, bass, and Arthur Risk, the producer. I helped him a lot. He helped me with the guitars a lot, and like a lot of the solos and stuff. But it's really gratifying, because I do think that it's a very uncompromising record. It is kind of like a record that is kind of made for, I think it's like is made by a fan for the fans. It's like I was playing the stuff I want to hear as a fan, and I think the Soulfly fans felt the same way. That's why they connected to Totem, because of that. It's what I wanted to hear, and I kind of have this kind of like curiosity of why would it be like to mix tribal elements and heavy grooves with extreme death thrash. And Totem is full of that, and I think it is cool. It's almost like dipping in a new form of style that is not actually been there before. So like the tribal elements with the groove, with the thrash, with the death, all together. I mean, I think there's some even elements of black metal a little bit on Totem that goes back to my beginnings as a musician, with stuff like Morbid Visions. I did this record with Arthur Risk, and he's a producer that knows my career really well, and he was just trying to he wanted to like really dig deep and kind of like reach out to the inner Max, to the young, teenage Max Cavalera, or how I started playing music for those reasons. And I think this album has that fire. It has that young teenage fire that, even though I'm 53 years old, I think on this record, it feels like I'm 17. I feel really, really excited about it. And I think that's really cool. Like on your career, if you can make a record like that after all those years, and a lot of people get burned out, and I'm the opposite. I'm getting actually more excited for metal. Like the more I listen to metal, the more I enjoy it. And I really have had a lot of fun making this record. I think the pandemic kind of helped a little bit, because I had more time to really think about the whole process. But in the end, I think, like I said, it's an album made by a fan for the fan.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this record is the fact that you mentioned your producer, Arthur. He also, like you said, played a lot of the leads. This was the first record that you had where you didn't have like an actual set lead guitarist.
Yeah. We are experimenting with this idea of trying different people. I'm not really rushing to get a permanent member. I don't see the rush in getting that. And I think even Soulfly is actually kind of like tailor-made for this idea. It's perfect, because Soulfly already had many changes in the lineup through the years. So the idea was born with the record. We end up using 3 guitar players. We had Arthur Risk, John Powers, and Chris from Power Trip. And with that in mind, I thought, okay, let's take that on the road. Let's see how that feels like. So we end up, having our friend Dino Cazares last year did a lot of work with us, and now we're having Metal Mike, Mike DeLeon. So I think I'm going to continue with this idea. I think it's really cool. I'll get to introduce a lot of guitar players to the Soulfly fans. I get to jam with some guys that I really enjoy and look forward to jam with them. And we don't have the pressure of having a permanent member, that puts such a stigma on the whole thing, So I think we're gonna just roll with this idea. It's great. I think the fans love it. I love it, and I think that there's such a unique on the record itself on Totem. I felt such a relief when I had these 3 different guys doing solos all over the record. It felt different. It felt like, okay, something changed in Soulfly. There's a switch in the sound and dynamics, and the solos, they feel different from before. and that's exciting. I love that. That's like new blood. We brought new blood to the Soulfly camp, and I think that's great, man. I love that, and I'm gonna continue, on that, pursuing that idea of introducing guitar players to the fans.
Yeah, you are definitely the master of writing angry music, and of course on Totem there's a ton of tracks like that. But one of the tracks that I found very interesting was a song called Soulfly 12, which is an instrumental track. Can you give me a little bit about the background on the making and recording of that particular track?
Yeah, so those Soulfly songs are born from it was actually an accident that happened on the first record, and we end up recording an instrumental that became I saw it as a different side of Soulfly. It was like the soft, mellow, almost like cinematographic soundtrack landscape kind of music. Um, so and then I thought of the idea of every record, the Soulfly song is inspired by something different all the time. So we had a couple ones that were like Middle Eastern influence, with a lot of Middle Eastern influences, like the duduk from Armenia, and there's a couple one with violin. On the last record, Ritual, we had a saxophone. This one in particular is very, very rooted in 80s goth music, especially like Sisters of Mercy and Cure, all the melodic uh, stuff that those bands did. I'm a big fan of that era of the 80s goth rock, and I never deep in on that before, so it was really, to me, out of my comfort zone, and really experimenting kind of as a total curiosity kind of guy, just going, what if we do this, like, or I have a riff that sounds a bit like old Cure. I almost got trying to get one of those guys to sing on it, like the singer of the Mission or Sisters of Mercy. It came to my mind, the idea, but it got too late in the studio, so I just left it as an instrumental. But this one is very deep rooted in the 80s goth rock, and I really love the way it came out. I think the distorted bass that Arthur put on top of it is really cool. It's like, it's the cherry on top of it, man. It's like, it makes it such a iconic 80s retro sound on the whole thing. But it was, it was funny. I love doing those instrumentals because it's like the opposite of, like I said, the angry song. It's like looking at very in a melodic ways, almost like I said, like soundtrack
Yeah.
kind of. Um, and I enjoy making them. Because yeah, in the end of the day, I'm always gonna. My heart is always in the heavy stuff, and in the aggressive stuff. And I joke with people the other day. I say, yeah, it's like the Beatles had a gift to write love songs. I end up with a gift to write angry songs, and I embrace that gift. I don't want to change that. I think that's something that either you have it or you don't have it. I have it, and it feels cool to delve into the energy, and sing, as long as you're doing it with like the old punks say, say what you mean what you say. As long as you're doing it with that in mind, and it's coming from the heart, people will get it. They'll feel it, what you're feeling on those songs. But yeah, I love doing those instrumentals. People has asked me, like, I should do a whole concert of those at some point, maybe even play some of them live. I never played one of those instrumentals live before. Eventually, at some point, I think I would try to do something like that on a tour. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, or maybe even down the road in your career, like you said, maybe make a whole record like that, almost like a soundtrack, perhaps, to a movie.
Yeah, like that was being suggested by some fans. Like, some of them put all those songs together and just listen to them on rotation, or, random or something, and they love it very much. And they asked me, like, you should do a whole record of those, and yeah, it would be cool, but like I said, my heart is in the heavy stuff. I always get pulled back into the heavy shit, no matter what I do. But I love the fact that I still have two things: the curiosity and the don't give a fuck attitude to do it. You know, like I don't care. I'm gonna do it. If people don't like it, they can just there's a skip button. You don't like the songs, you skip to the next one. But I like to having those songs on those records.
Yeah. Now, Soulfly's been around for 25 years. Do you feel that Soulfly right now is more popular than you've ever been during that 25 years?
Yeah, it's a different kind of popularity. It's a bit more. I feel that my fans have grown up with me, and so a lot of them are. I have a really wide audience, and a lot of them are older guys that grew up with my music, and so they followed uh, the whole Soulfly career, even before some of them even started with Sepultura. And I have all these new kids, all these young cats that just are 12, 13 years old, that they love it too. And a lot of these records they were not even born when I was making these records. But they love it. So it feels different. It feels more special for some reason. Like there's something cool about it. I think that the longer you play the game, um the more special it gets. And I think that I was watching Tom Warrior doing Hellhammer in a Maryland Death Fest, and I felt this is so cool to see this man. That Hellhammer was one of my first big influences in the extreme metal when I first started Sepultura. And watching them with my son, that's a big fan, on the side of the stage, there's something cool about the survival element. You've been through hell and back, but you're still doing it. And you know what? It's even better when you're older because you have like knowledge and you, I don't know, something comes in with that with all that history, be all the baggage of history behind, and makes it more special. I feel it's more special, and judging by Soulfly's popularity in the metal world, I feel pretty special about it. We never blow up entirely like real big, but never been forgotten either. So it's kind of like always there. It's exists in his own orbit. And I like that, man. I think it's in a way that's like heavy metal. It is in general, right? Sometimes it's more popular, it's less popular, but it doesn't die and it doesn't go away. It's always there. It's a constant. It's a continuation thing, and I like that about my music career. It either be Sepultura, Soulfly, or the other projects that I have, and that's the other side of those projects. Are also another thing that I do that I like so much to do, that I'm involved with so many other projects. They're all different avenues of expression to me, so I can really, really play around with all different things that you know that, that I think makes me a better musician, a better person in the end of the day.
Yeah, the one thing that I think has kept Soulfly in the public eye is the fact that you're very consistent. I mean, all your releases have been outstanding, pretty much. There really isn't one. I'm looking at the list of records in front of me, and every one, was critically acclaimed, and your live performances are outstanding. And the thing with Soulfly and even with Sepultura, your music was unique. I mean, you really couldn't you I mean Soulfly or Sepultura, you could always tell it was that band because you didn't sound like the hundreds of copycat bands out there at the time.
Well, I'm a firm believer of the old old school method of real rock bands that plug in and play your balls out, and that's something that you learn it with life. There's not really there's not a manual how to do it. You have to just learn it on the ropes with life, and that's how it was with Sepultura, and that's how it continues with Soulfly. I'm super proud of that. That's why I think Soulfly shows are imperfect, and I love that about them. You want to watch perfection, you go watch one of these electronic things that sound perfect, machine made. You're coming to see Soulfly, you're gonna experience the humans side of things, and it's gonna be some fuck ups and speed droppings and things like that. But that's what makes it alive. That's what it makes it like a live organism. And I love that especially the Soulfly set that we're playing right now is full of that. Um, there's a little bit of out of control vibe in some of the songs, kind of like you just derailing on a train going down the hill, and you're trying to stop and you find the brakes. It just feels like you're about to crash. Um, and that's something really cool. Like when you do that, I think some black metal has that element, and I like that about it. But Soulfly has that for some reason. And the imperfection is what makes it cool. It makes it unique, and also the things that I never change about my writing. You know, my voice and the riffs. Those are all elements that were created through time that I never really wanted to uh, change them, especially the vocals. You know, I could have like took lessons and tried to learn how to sing properly, but that's not really the why I'd start singing in the first place. I liked it because it was something that felt very, very primal, came out of me very in a primal way, and it felt right. Uh, and I think I continue. I don't understand why I sing the way I sing. I don't want to understand. I don't want to know the technical side of it. I just know that it works, and as long as it's working, I'm okay with it. You know. So I think those things are things that a lot of fans embrace, and they feel like you say, once you hear a Soulfly song, the minute the vocals hit, I think it's kind of like very easy distinguishable. Oh yeah, that's Soulfly. I know that. Sometimes even just with the riff, uh, it's a unique sound that I rather have that. The originality is very important for my music career. So I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, one of the things I want to ask you about is you said you have tour dates for planned for about 9 weeks. What are your plans for summer? Are there any big like US like metal festivals that you might be involved in or anything like that that you could reveal at this point?
So yeah, we're doing mostly European festivals at this point. We've been booking a bunch of different ones in all through um, the summer. There's one in Vegas called Stick New World Festival, and that's I'm not sure when. I think it's next month. It's either March or April. Um, might be in April, and yeah, I don't plan that far ahead, and because I'm not even involved in the booking anyway, like my wife does that, and she has great plans putting all these tours together, and I'm just excited to get to be part of it. Even like to me, this is like one of the coolest tours I've been part of it because it's so long. Bands don't do that anymore, and I love that the fact that we're doing this. This is the old way, the old school, the old method of go where your fans are. Like don't depend on social media or radio or TV to promote you. Like go there, go meet your fans face to face and play for them. And that's why those tours are so long, because we're going literally everywhere, and that's really really cool.
Yeah, the first time I saw you perform was in 1993 when Sepultura played with Pantera. Um, Tell us a little bit about what you remember from that tour with Pantera in '93.
Oh yeah, those are great tours. It's one of the reasons. Even today, I support. other bands. You know, we take smaller bands on tour with us because we were given a chance by bands like Pantera and Ministry and Ozzy, you know, Slayer, um, Rammstein. I love the fact that bigger bands have gave me a chance, and then I kind of like, this is me paying back by bringing new bands like 200 Stab Wounds and Body Box on tour. My most cool memories of that tour is actually Dimebag getting me to drink every day. I was, you know, 10 in the morning. He was ready to do shots, and I was like, a couple times I was like, man, we gotta play tonight, you know. But that did not really work with him. Did not stop him. He would do the, you know the thing about Dimebag, you just do the shot. It's easier to do the shot than to argue with him why you're not doing the shot, you know, because you got to spend like hours explaining to him why you're not want to do that one shot. Just do it, get over with. I learned that very quick. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just a fun tour. Those are amazing guys, and very, very missed, especially the two brothers are very, I miss them very much.
Yeah. What do you think about the Pantera tribute tour that's taking place with Zach Wild and then also Charlie from Anthrax?
Yeah, that's, man, there's two sides for that, right? Um, it's so tough because at one hand, I understand that the fans want to see it, and you still have somewhat big parts of that band, but you are missing two key elements on the brothers that are irreplaceable in my eyes. So it's tough. It's really tough. But I think as far as the music, eh, I mean, the only thing that maybe it's a little bit strange is that they call it Pantera. It should be called some kind of tribute to Pantera. I think, you know, it would have been a little bit more of a tribute to those songs and to the era. Because I don't really think it's Pantera without the brothers, you know.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. There definitely is two sides to that. I want to speak briefly about your book that you wrote in 2013, My Bloody Roots. How gratifying was it to go back and write a book on your life? And are there any plans for a like updated version of that book to be released at any time to include last 10 years of your life and career?
Yeah, it was great. It was I work with Joe MacGyver. He's a great writer out of the UK, and we work real hard on that book. I try to remember all the stories, and I think there's a lot of great stories. And I always thought that if we ever made a documentary, a video documentary, it would be really cool because the book is so full of interesting material that a lot of fans did not know about it. Stuff from my childhood, the passing of my dad, uh, me being baptized in the Vatican as a kid, and then all the great rock and roll stories of it. Like so many cool ones. Puking on Eddie Vedder, and setting my hair on fire, having dinner with Ozzy. Those are like, you can't make that shit up, man. That's life. That just happens to you, and it's so cool to be able to recount them, to tell them again. So right now I'm on the process of collecting more stories. You got to collect them so you can tell them later. But yeah, I love to do at some point do another revised version with more stories and more things. But I think there's a little bit of, like I said, you got to collect some more stories and collect more music, and yeah, you got to do that first, and then I think would be cool to do a continuation of the book for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'm sure a lot of your fans would too. Max, so you're going to be playing in Buffalo on Friday. I'm really looking forward to that show. again, thank you for your time. And the last question I want to ask you, is that, Sepultura, of course, had a huge following and probably a band that, would have continued becoming more and more popular with each release. Um, would you ever consider reconnecting with the original members of Sepultura, maybe doing like just like one, tour or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I let kind of like life takes care of it on itself. I'm very, very busy right now with other projects like that because I have so many. Soulfly being my main band, but also Go Ahead and Die with my son Igor and Killer BQ. Um, and I'm already playing a lot of the old stuff, with my brother. That's to me right there. It fills that void anyway. So yeah, I don't think about that at all. Like, um, at this moment, I say I don't need to do anything like that. I think at this moment, I'm so busy with the stuff that I have in front of me, and the fans love all the stuff that I've been doing anyway. That there's no point really, because I haven't even thought of that idea in a long time. But I think that my main thing right now is Soulfly. For sure, the tour is kicking ass, and we are adding some more songs to it. And I'm look forward to play Buffalo, and yeah, and I love the fact that Soulfly just keeps getting stronger and stronger within every record, man. And I look forward to the time to write the next one. It will be another challenge and another chance to make something good again.
All right, it sounds good. Max, thank you very much for your time, and I'm looking forward to Friday night, and I'll see you from the pit.
All right, thanks, brother.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
you're welcome. We'll see you. Bye bye.